It's like, oh, you got me, officer. I'm just saying that RCMP are all sexual predators, and it's really the only crime deterrent you need. Who's going to commit a crime if RCMP just went around going, hey, we're sexual predators? The only people going to do it are people who want to be sodomized. They're going to be sodomites. Bend over. Oh, good. You might want to check my ass, officer. I've got things inside there. Oops, they're brown. I now have a kind of a working knowledge of what male and female sexual predators look like, and especially since a lot of them have to be like teachers in their professions, right? You're sold this idea on YouTube and the world that teachers are these really wonderful people that want nothing but the best for their students. And I have no doubt that they sincerely believe this. That doesn't mean they're not sexual predators, right? Look at the way they touch their students. Look at their familiar relationships which they groom them for, which are not relationships with their mother or father or anyone in their natural family group. Very temporary by their very nature, kind of like counselors in prison, because you're going to be released one day, right? And here's the thing, you do all the work, but they're the only ones who gets paid. And they really suck at their job, in so much as it's doing what the government tells them to, because it's really not appropriate. And you're meant to feel trapped. So they are your wardens. You're in an institution, right? But they're not smart enough. I met one teacher who figured it out. She has a PhD in education. And while she was researching her PhD, right, it was a cracker box PhD from a diddly company called SFU. And I think they gave it to her just because, she put in her hours teaching teachers, right? This person was sending people out in the world. She found out what she was part of. She found out what education was really about, from the architecture of the schools to everything else. And she quit. But she had a nervous breakdown. She started sexually harassing me. But anyway, it's what they do, because it's what they're used to, right? And it's how they get theirs. They can't control themselves. The thing about women or men, I'd rather say it's about women than men, but you could say about anyone. It sounds like I'm rationalizing their behavior. If you say about male sexual predators that they can't control themselves for reasons of oppression, that sounds misogynistic and awful. And you could never just rest with that argument and say, oh, we're done. But you almost should say that about women, that when women commit sexual assault of any kind, they can't help themselves. Then we're very sympathetic. And that in itself tells you the nature of the system. It's female-oriented, but not in a way that benefits females. But it does advantage them in certain ways that they're often credited with a reasonable need to conduct certain behavior, irrespective of, and almost especially because, any given male is injured by it. Because it's like exacting the cost from something that the male structure has already robbed from them. So just like babies are born and they've already taken the life of Jesus, the world has the right to treat them like tiny little scapegoats, because you already killed Jesus, right? And by killing Jesus, you ruined everything in creation. But it's okay. All you have to do is offer up your flesh and blood to the owners of Jesus, which is the industrial complex. And this guilt-ridden way of extorting human labor for negative financial instruments is nothing other, and has never been anything other, than the prostitution of your flesh and blood, right? Freud and Jung both agreed. Your work, such as it is demanded by this economic system, is no different than offering your sex and your genitals. And all the churches and religions and languages are meant to capitalize on that. All the media, everything else. And that's one of the reasons people behave the way they do. And it's amazing to think that it could be worse, right? So there is a golden, shining spirit of humanity in all of that. But you'll never really see it if you don't see the darkness that we've been forced to endure. The darkness of each other's compulsions, even though most of those people are observing every kind of norm that is demanded of their flesh and blood in the course of offering their labor and their consent to various organizations and their precincts, their domains, as it were, and claims, as it were, upon the needs, or to arbitrate and to be able to help or advance or protect oneself from the needs or compulsions of other types of humans, and even nature itself, right? It's a very sophisticated system. We'll do that today. It's weird, there's a log in that tree, and I've seen it so many times, and I almost always think it's a deer. I haven't seen any deer for a while. My body's pretty good. My brain is singing. The singing cedar. There's a tree parking down, truck parking down there, which I can notice. Just passed by me recently. There's a truck behind me. What that is. Sanitary owl. Sanitary owl. Sounds like a drink, doesn't it? I'll have a sanitary owl. Wow. That's weird. Probably some kind of parade. People running. More cars. Let's see. Just breathing. Gotta get over the river here, I think. I'm not gonna be able to stay on this side very long. So I'll try to get over here. The sooner I get onto the island, the better. And then I can do my business. Keeping warm, the only key there, keep moving. You know, I could sit under a tree and get cold all day. I like walking, so I'm pretty in good shape that way. So I'm, medium in shape, but shaping up to do what I do. Someone can be in shape to stay at a desk all day. You're in shape for whatever it is you do every day. So, but I just think that I'm a little bit better than that. During the elements in my way. Whew, I am chilly. Let's see if we can get over here, and it will really be good and very clear. We're going to go on the island now. There's a log right here. We can crawl over, and it will be fun. No, it won't. Because even if you get to the other side, it's really hard to crawl over there. And it's a long log, and it's a long way down. These are all things that's wide, but I'm going to take a piss. Otherwise, I'm not going to do anything. Well, I'm gonna look around here.